actually crazy. I did this a year ago, and then I didn't do it ever again. One might say I burnt myself out. Maybe I'll burn myself out again. I guess we'll see. I think I gotta refresh my dock. My dock's not loading! There it goes. I actually have a plan this time. I got some things that I want to talk about. Some things to get off my chest. And I can't tell. Daring thumbnail. Isn't it though? Isn't it? Oh, you know what actually would have been really daring? If I said, I can't even pronounce the name of that new distro that everybody's talking about, that some people who shall not be named are getting shafted for. I should have said that one is objectively better, is what I should have done. That would have been clickbaity as all hell. What's up, y'all? Man, you actually joined faster than the bot joined. Technical difficulties on that end, I tell you. I don't know if any of you tuned in yesterday, but my cyber range is in the works still. If you're in the Discord, you'll see what I posted. I'm still waiting for licensing to propagate across the back end, which is stupid. Absolutely stupid. But it's not something I'm not already used to. But I wanted to read something, and somebody in the Discord. Let's see if you join. Let's see if you join. Mr. Okay, he renamed himself, but he had a hot take. He had a very hot take that I do not care for, probably because it pertains to me a little bit. But let's see if all y'all agree. He posted it and deleted it. I was hoping to be in the Hall of Shame. He's not going to be put in the Hall of Shame. Nope. You're not going to get what you asked for. But I will read it to you because I can see when people delete stuff. All right. Y'all ready? Are y'all ready to hear his hot take? I think it's a dude. It could be a dudette. We don't quite know. But here's the hot take. You know, engineer is actually a protected title in a lot of countries. Well, you don't say. It's already a bit of a stretch to call software engineers actual engineers, but at least they create software. What do cloud engineers do? And he quoted engineers. Cloud engineers just remember a few facts that they learned from Microsoft and Amazon. Well, wouldn't you know that? And now think they know best. In reality, AI can both regurgitate facts better and come up with new ideas better than these GRC analysts with an ego. Huh! Just stirring the shit pot with that one. Man. So, I don't know. I don't know if he's actually just rage baiting or not. I mean, he's not wrong. If you actually fundamentally think about what exactly, if you work in AWS engineering or Azure engineering or GCP engineering, whether or not you're a security focused one or not, you are manipulating the services in the cloud, and you are effectively a fancy button clicker is what you are. But that's, it kind of is the reason I put AI is going to take your job. People pay people to do a job. That job, you need to know how to do. If you know how to do the job and they're paying you to do the job, it doesn't matter if you are regurgitating Microsoft, Azure, or AWS configurations or not, and that whether or not AI can do it better. It's whether or not they're willing to pay you. That's all that matters. If you can do a thing that somebody's willing to pay you to do the thing, that's it. It's that simple. You just gotta convince somebody to pay you to do a thing. Done. And then you can mess around. I hope AI doesn't take my job. What's your job? Softly? AI is simply automation? Yeah. AI is fancy automation. It's very good at scanning and parsing and yeah. 3 streams in a row. Is it Christmas? Right? Man, could you imagine? Just think about it. If there's enough of you who are gonna stick around, who knows? But if I just streamed just indefinitely, if this just became my thing, and I somehow got the energy because I'm so lacking in the energy department lately, and I just consistently did it, wouldn't that be wild? It'd be crazy. It'd be absolutely crazy. And on top of that, if you don't know the thing I'm doing on the side that people are a little bit angry and salty about, that's also gonna have live calls as well. So if I do live calls here, live calls there, I'm gonna burn myself out most likely, but I guess we'll see. Soft skills go burr, yeah. AI can't match my soft skills. Well, that's not true. It's a lot nicer than I am. That's for sure. I get annoyed by the yes men personality of Claude and Gemini, and yeah, you can tell it to be more honest, but even when you do tell it to be more honest, it's still kind of like trying to be nice. It's a little ridiculous. Is AI taking junior pen tester jobs? AI is going to take, you know what? I can visualize this. Let's visualize this. Let's go to my fancy schmancy visualization tool. All right. So you're worried about AI taking, you got junior. Oh, wait. Let me fix this. Automatic. Do this, do this. Ay, блять. Oh, it's not working. There you go. You're worried about junior roles, right? And when I was talking about pipelines yesterday, there's junior roles. Oh, that's a crazy good J. And then you have mid roles, and then you have senior roles. S. You got S tier, right? These are all pen tester roles. The big P, right? And you're worried about these, where you do scanning. You do some, let's do a little radar. You do a little scanning. That looks like a clock. Imagine that this is a radar. And you find vulnerabilities, right? And then you write a report for those vulnerabilities. That's pen testing. Now get better at it, and you'll be mid-tier. Get better at it even more, you'll be a senior. And you're worried about juniors. Like AI, where that fits into this. Ooh, it's over here. It's coming in hot. Right? This is just improving finding the work. It's improving this part. I don't know why I did it all the way to the top left. I thought I would have to draw more, but does that answer your question? Like, everybody's worried about it outright, just demolishing all of this work. Like, it's just going to automate the whole process. Like, work with AI to try to automate something that most people are trying to automate shit. Somebody said this. I'm not going to quote who said it, but you should not automate everything. You automate stupid shit, and then it breaks when you didn't need to automate it. It's really, people are going a little buck wild with it. It's nonsense. All right, who pinged me in chat? You honor me with the entire stream. Okay, he must be in the stream. The hot take person. So yeah, I'm not worried about AI taking jobs. I'm worried about what AI is going to do to jobs, because nobody's gonna be able to guess. Everybody's like, should I go into this field? If you're interested enough, go ahead. If you're smart enough, you're gonna figure it out along the way anyways. Like, I'm not worried about job security because I know that I'm competent enough to find something in the field that I can get paid to do. Like earlier when I said, you find something that somebody's willing to pay for, and you know how to do that thing, they will pay you to do that thing. Whether or not that's with AI, or most likely will be with AI. Should have gotten into cybersecurity 4 years ago. Suckers when they were giving out graduate jobs. They weren't even giving out graduate jobs back then. What are you talking about? It's still, I would say, as hard to get a job now as it was back then. At least from what I'm seeing. It's probably, it's worse, but it's not as worse as everybody is playing it out to be. It's definitely a employer market. They get their pickings. They can do 4 interviews and 5 and justify them because they know they can get away with it. You want to be a psychologist? Man, if we're talking about, okay. I cannot get behind what specifically in psychology. I guess let me just ask that. Ignored my 4 chats. Man, I was just explaining stuff. I can't get to every single chat. Don't over specialize. Yeah, no, you got to niche it down. And especially with AI, you got to learn how to use AI effectively with your niche, like on steroids. So yeah, definitely. I think BJ is the safest job land per. Well, if that's what you want to do to make money, Rafi, then by all means. I do have some videos lined up that I wanted to watch. One about the it's a Black Hat. I don't think all of you went to Black Hat, but it's a Black Hat talk that I haven't watched. I think it'll be interesting. There's a state of the job market. It was a short video. And then there's well, I can just show you. I don't know why I have to. Although this background's, do you guys like this background? I made it like a year ago. I don't know if you guys remember the video that I made about this when I was down working for peanuts at a Fortune 5, and I was just, I don't know if I could do it anymore, man. Let's see. Person who ignored 4 chats, Rafi. Let me scroll up. Where's your question? Let's see if I can find your question. Rafi. Bro, don't ignore the chat. What pen testing domains are going to get replaced and what to focus on? What? I answered that. Isn't it though? It gives you something to really focus on. If you have a extreme ADHD, you can just focus on my name getting cut out. Good morning. Flags in chat. Look at that. Can I take AZ 104 with your AZ fundamentals, or should I learn more to that? Honestly, Lux was one of my mains in League, by the way. I can't definitively say. So my problem is when I made it Azure Fundamentals, the whole point of it was to give you a taste of the main things in Azure. So it doesn't specialize on KQL for SC200. It doesn't specialize in identity. It kind of gives you a taste of everything. And then the next thing I build on top of that, you'll be able to understand, whether that's Defender, whether that's more the engineering side, if we're trying to deploy more services. It gives you the basics. So like the terminology, all of it. So I'd say it's a primer for basically any one of the exams. Whether or not it actually gets you to pass, I would say no. You need to take practice exams. I will say you need to take practice exams for basically any exam that you're going for. That's how I passed the CISSP. That's how I passed my SC200 and my SC500. I didn't study a single thing, but I also built out the entire training thing, whatever you want to call it. I don't like calling it a course, but I built that out. And just by doing that and just redoing all the things that I do at work, I was able to pass it. So if that answers your question, there you go. Did you inspire me to step up to an engineering role? Very nice, Burpski. In Azure, AWS? Are you just going for engineering in general, which is pretty freaking wide? Can you expand on how you juggle 2 jobs at once? I equate everything that I do outside of my 9 to 5, which is riddled with stupid meetings. That is 40 hours a week that I'm supposed to be there. Add another 40 to 60 hours because I work in my bedroom with, I'll bring up my MacBook. If we're watching something, I'll be researching something on my phone, all combined with the stuff I'm doing for content, the stuff I'm doing for the website, the stuff that I'm trying to do for the mentorship program. All of that is work. I'm not playing games. I'm doing something that I otherwise wouldn't do if I wasn't trying to build something that is the same thing that I do at my 9 to 5. It's just work. So I'm doing anywhere from 80 to 100 hours a week of just stuff that takes away from my time with the kids. And I try to just be present as much as I can. Probably now is the most I've ever worked in my entire life, honestly. So if that answers your question, that's what I do. How I juggle it, I just take it a day by day. Like I slept for 5 hours last night. I went through some meetings, felt like real shit. I took like I think it was a 20-minute power nap because my brain was foggy. I could not function. And now I'm on stream. So yeah. If I yelled a CISP without the... I think you're trying to say YOLO, Skater. If you YOLO without the 5 years of experience just so I could find a job, what are the downsides of trying that? There's no downsides. Provided you could actually get into a position, in some tech position, IT position. That's how I did the qualifying years for my CSSP. I just matched the domains to my IT work. It doesn't have to be a security analyst or like pure security role to apply to those years of experience. But even having the associate looks better than having nothing on your resume or very little. If you pass it, also, true story. Before leading up to my interviews for my first security analyst position, while I was applying, I was prepping. I'm like, okay, I need to get into the mindset of a security person because I've been doing this e-commerce thing for over a year, and I would listen to Darknet Diaries. I would listen to Daily Wire. Those are 2 podcasts, by the way, if you don't know what those are, cybersecurity ones. And I would watch over and over and over. I was, while I was making stuff for the e-commerce site, because I was doing that plus IT. I'm not going to get into that. I would listen to Pete Zerker, CISSP crash course. And all of that combined would give me the vernacular that I would need to sound like I knew what I was talking about for the first interviews. So it was a lot of just cramming. So even if you don't think it'll look good on your resume, if you do start getting interviews, it'll still help in that way. YOLO it isn't? Yeah. Need to eat, test, and exercise well, man. Help makes everything more efficient. Yeah. I'm eating less lately because I've already pocketed quite a bit of stuff. All right, I want to go to my videos. All right. Let's see what y'all want to see on the lineup. I got 3 videos that I want to watch. Obviously talk about them too. Fave distro? I'm pretty partial to Ubuntu, honestly. I don't use Linux all that often because I don't have a need to. I use Mac at work, which I use Mac while I'm working on other stuff upstairs. And then my personal computer is Windows because I play games and I didn't want to switch to Linux. So. Whoop. All right. I don't know if y'all have crazy feeds like I do, but X is just out of hand. By the way, shout out to Cheddar. There it is. Cheddar over in my X. He pops up all the time. Way to go, CrowdStrike. You guys know what happened to CrowdStrike? What games do I play? The most recent was me playing the new X-Pac for a while. And then I tried to play a game of Teamfight Tactics, and I got way too bored. So. Change one more name of a body of water, and I... While in hospital, I discovered Network Shark's Facebook profile and personal YouTube channel. The content on it is truly... Man, there's so much drama around Network Chuck. What? What are these allegations? Are you guys seeing this? Bruh. Anyways. There's just so much crap on there. And LinkedIn's not that much better. Start a gaming channel? I do have a gaming channel. I don't have enough time to game to provide enough content for that kind of commitment. I don't know how much of a AI slop cesspool y'all's LinkedIn are, but mine can get pretty bad. Tech YouTubes are just mean girls. I would expand that. It's not just tech YouTubers. Anybody who's just generally, everybody who I've seen grow any amount of, I guess you would call it a following, is kind of insufferable. And I guess I'm lumping myself into the same pool of people, but just people trying to grow on X, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and they're doing anything tech related. Maybe they started out that way and they had an ego or pride, or they're just pretentious by just born that way. But they belittle people so much. It's insane. Like, I read a post where somebody on X was belittling people who make videos on YouTube for cybersecurity. And it seemed unnecessary. It's like, why you gotta be like that? Just focus on yourself a little bit. How about that? But yeah, I'm not gonna get into the rabbit hole that is all the drama that you can see in social media. I don't know if you guys have seen this, Jake's Tech. I've seen some of his videos. He seems pretty chill. We'll see what he has to say about getting a tech job in 2026. There's not a lot of getting a cybersecurity job in 2026. It's like far and few. So I know he does cybersecurity as well. Content. So I imagine this has got to be... This is an easy watch for y'all because the other one is 40 minutes long. I'm sure a lot of you will leave. So let's see what he has to say. I'll see if I can weigh my opinion on what pros, cons, see what he brings up. All right. Let me check volume. It is so quiet when I turn that off. Is it just more awkward when there's no music and it's just me talking? Or is that just me? Maybe it's my attention span that needs music or some noise. What would be the best choice to transition in from a security analyst position, detection engineering, or incident response? Into either or, honestly. You're gonna get Well, that's not true. Incident response is a more natural pivot because you're already going to be responding to incidents that require you to understand how to investigate, which is what your security analyst position would be. Detection engineering requires you to learn syntax in whatever tools that you're using. So EDR, SIM, because you're building out those rules. And you have to know them quite well to be able to deal with all the tuning that is necessary to not overwhelm the analysts. So yeah, my 2 cents there. What do you consider as good PC specs for pen testing? I don't think your specs need to be all that high, honestly, to be doing, I guess, as high RAM as you would need. I think you can get away with, what do I have on my PC? I think I have 416s, so 64 gigs. Just having a laptop that's somewhat beefy, honestly, that's all you would need with enough RAM to process everything, a decent CPU. That's it. I think you're overthinking that. I don't think you need to overthink your PC specs. Just get something that is affordable for you. Your voice sounds very clear now. Well, a Raspberry Pi and an interconnection probably. Yeah. 36 finally a cybersecurity analyst. Been trying to get in this job for over 10 years. What took you so long? Not to be blunt, but congratulations on your job. 10 years is quite the grind. Kudos to you for sticking it out, man. ASMR. Okay. Let's listen to Jake's Tech. Yeah. I was about to get that wrong.
Getting a tech job in 2026 is extremely competitive. I'm not going to lie to you about that. But it is absolutely possible.
It is competitive.
And I want to be clear about that as well.
Possible.
I've personally talked with hundreds of people and looked at countless resumes, more than I can count. And here's what I've figured out. Something like 95% of people trying to break in and not getting in are not getting in because they're not smart enough. It's not bad luck and it's not the bad market. It is strategy. And strategy, fortunately, is one thing that you can absolutely fix. This video is generally...
Yeah, how many of you's strategy sucks whilst trying to apply to jobs? Come on. You can fess up, everybody. You're applying to too little jobs. You're applying to too many jobs while not tailoring your resume. You're not tailoring your resume correctly. You're not fluffing your resume and you're tailoring, and you don't know what fluff means. If you don't know what fluff means, then sheesh. Why is he whispering? Are you referring to Jake? Or I don't think I'm whispering. My audio seems fine.
For the beginner who is seeking their first job. Now, if that's you, I'm going to be very direct and honest with you. I'm not going to sell you something like maybe some other YouTuber would, some dream that's not possible, where you land this 6-figure job in like 2 weeks of studying. I want you to know that it's...
What? Can you imagine? Yo, join my boot camp and you will study for 12 hours a day, and I guarantee you, or your money back, a job in cybersecurity. Can you imagine? I bet there's some blue collar jobs that you could do that, honestly. It wouldn't pay nearly as well, but yeah.
Going to take a lot of hard work. You're going to have to be conscientious. You're going to have to be goal-oriented and organized. But if you're willing to do that and you follow the right steps, you can and you will win and you will get a job. So let's look at exactly how to do it. First thing around tech, I will say, ignore the doom in general. The worst advice ever floating around right now is that AI is killing the entire industry and that you shouldn't even bother.
Not a lot of you hopping in chat asking about whether or not AI is going to take over the job. No, none of you did that.
That advice is actively hurting beginners. And here's the truth. AI is a tool. If you focused on your generalist abilities and you use AI to augment those abilities to learn things, you're going to be way ahead of the pack and AI is going to help you. Now, the people getting crushed are not the people using AI. They're the ones who use AI as this excuse to not start. That doesn't have to be you. So that's my first caveat. Next, something I wish people had told me, and this is a hill that I will absolutely die on. If you're applying to jobs outbound, your resume is 90% of the reason that you're not getting calls back. And I'd say that 90% of the resumes that I look at are genuinely pretty terrible. They're poorly organized. Have
any of you seen my resume roast? because I can attest to some of that.
Formatting is inconsistent. Nothing is quantifiable.
Cool story. I just recently 4 rounds of interviews for an IR lead for where I work. We're hiring. We hired somebody. Nice. They have no background in Microsoft tools whatsoever, but they were better than the other dude. And the other dude misspelled Ghidra at the very bottom of his resume. He didn't think I was going to notice, but I noticed. He used a Y. Why would he do that? Why would he misspell something on his resume?
Things are too verbose in some areas and not verbose enough in other areas. They list things that shouldn't be there, and weirdly, they're almost always too long. Most beginners are either underselling themselves or way overselling themselves, or they're...
Oh, look at that. This checklist. This is nice. Right above my head. I fit perfectly. Poorly organized. Yes. Inconsistent formatting. Yes. Nothing is quantifiable. Yes. You have to actually say you improved some aspect of the job that you're working on. And the reason you need to do that is because they want to see that you're not just doing a job, you're doing the job really well. Too wordy, yeah, if you're just doing word salad. And honestly, if you're just slapping AI in there and letting AI phrase everything, it's going to come across as like word salad using big words when you should just be concise and explain things technically while not using the stupid fluff words. So you can go too far in the other direction. List things that don't matter. Exactly. Every single thing on your resume needs to scream to the employer, I know how to do this job right out the gate, or I know how to do something similar to the job, demonstrating that you could learn how to pick up that stack. Like the guy that we hired used CrowdStrike for, I think it was either 10 years or 12 years at 2 of his previous positions. His last position, he was out there for 8 years. But because he was able to explain everything, we went through scenario-based questions. I had to do the 4th round technical interview with him. I was confident enough to say, oh yeah, he could very clearly pick up our tech stack based off of his responses. So you got to list things that matter. But also if you can't, like if it's not a one-to-one with their tools, then yeah. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Too long. Yeah, don't have a 3-page resume when you have like 1 year of experience. That's kind of a duh.
They're just not selling themselves in the right way with their resume. Now, a clean, well-formatted, quantifiable resume goes way farther than you think. This is exactly what I built the resume workshop for at jakestechlabs.
Oh, he's selling us something! He said he wasn't going to do it. He's selling us something. You didn't catch the beginning? I caught the beginning.
It's 100% free, and it will take you from 0 to having a pretty dang good resume in like a couple hours. I highly advise that you do it. Now, one tactic in that workshop is that we are going to use AI heavily on our resume. We're going to review it 20, 30, 40 times with an LLM. Does this mean...
If you guys aren't using AI daily, shame on you. Shame on all of you. AI is the new Google, which I'm sure you guys are. But I still use Google. And then I'm like, why am I using Google when I could? We have paid for Claude, Gemini, and ChatGPT at work. Why am I using Google? Usually because it's a little quicker, if I'm being honest. But use AI to improve your odds. It's your little buddy who can help you fix the little things.
That we're going to offsource all thinking to an LLM? Absolutely not. We're going to still have human review. But when you use AI to help tell your story, it's just better at telling your story than you are. And then we quantify things. We make them outcomes-based. We make them results-based. And your resume goes from pretty bad to pretty good. Now, another thing that nobody really tells you, before you have a job, you need to have this experience. Well, how do you get experience before you actually have a job to get it?
With I won't say it. There's an issue with the poor... answer a question here. Poor job market for the unemployed that isn't talked about often. Employers get to look for unicorns that fit their org perfectly. They get to look for unicorns. Yes, it's an employer job market right now, and you have to stand out as that unicorn. Like I said before, if you can make your resume, and I can't promise that you're not gonna just not get lucky. They're at a certain point. That's why I always say it's a numbers game. You need to be the best unicorn in the lineup of semi-unicorns to absolute slogs of resumes, and you got to stand out and got to be in the top 3 to get those initial interviews and then stand out. So yeah, it sucks, but that's kind of the name of the game at this point. Spray and pray.
Experience. The best way you can do that is with home labbing. Do some projects at home. But I also want to correct how you think about projects, because before I got into IT, I was doing like crazy projects that were way above what I should.
Yeah, a lot of you will join chat in the 3 days that I've been doing this. I have a decent memory. And you're asking me questions about like, what does this look like? What is your setup for this? Oh, have you ever done this? And then I also get comments in Discord like, oh, have you created this complicated ass setup at home? And I'm curious, like, you're spending all that time doing this crazy convoluted home lab, but are you actually spending all your time learning how to do the job you're going after? Or are you just doing a bunch of different projects that you think are cool that are going to all collectively make you look like the unicorn when you're applying to these jobs? People are overcomplicating this. You don't need to be a savant with all these different things, which, I mean, to be fair, that's what I did. I kind of thought I needed to know a bunch about everything, and then I would show up and I would use all my skills. Turns out, no, you use like 10% of the thing that you learned when you're going through, say, the bachelor's program. You got to be incredibly specific with the labs that you're doing. Otherwise, you're wasting your time, even if you're having fun doing the other labs.
Be doing. More is not necessarily better. One good Active Directory project that focuses on users, groups, emails, attributes, GPO, things that you're actually going to see in Windows Server is so useful. This shows that you can definitely provide value to an organization on day one. Now, I have an Active Directory lab on jakestechlabs.com as well.
He's promoting it again. He's selling you something, technically.
Well, it's 100% free. I also have multiple videos on this channel talking through Active
Still freely selling you something.
Directory. Now we also have DHCP labs, we have a Cisco lab that's super useful, and I make all of these having experience in the industry and knowing what is actually useful. Now you're going to do these labs, you're going to make them into blog posts or document them on your GitHub so that you can show them off and show that, hey, I did this, I know how to do X, Y, Z, P, Q. That's all useful to me in my job.
What?
Now another thing that I wish people told me harder is that you should start at help desk. Now I know what a lot of you want. You want to skip help desk.
Nope, you lost me right there. Nope, sorry. No, you don't need to do help desk. You don't need to do help desk. Wrong. You can start, stupid thing. You can start at help desk. If that's all that you can get in your area, be thankful that you have a help desk job in this shit job market. But you should be aiming for network administration, system administration, tier 1 technicians, tier 2 technicians, but anything that isn't just being a mindless help desk. Like, the tickets that come in are painful. I'm sure a lot of you have seen my help desk video. Maybe not. Probably none of you. What am I saying? But you don't have to. You don't have to. It's tough.
And go to cybersecurity or to junior sysadmin or to network admin. I wanted the same thing before I started. But to be honest, going straight to cyber or system administration isn't actually what's best for you as a beginner. The best thing for you is to understand the bricks that the house is built on so that you can secure the house, so that you can administer the systems of the house. Help desk is the single best breeding ground there is. You can learn so much so fast. So it's actually useful for you as a worker to do those reps.
How many of you are in help desk? Honestly, one in chat if you're in help desk. I'm curious. Give me a 1, please. 1 in chat if you're help desk. Everybody else could just remain silent. Because he's hyping it up a little bit, but it varies in like a crap ton. The type of work that you will find at help desk can literally range from doing password resets, software troubleshooting, the same type of software troubleshooting, by the way, like Outlook bugs. My Outlook isn't syncing. My contacts, what happened to my contacts? I'm probably at this point troubleshooting why their Claude isn't working. I wouldn't be surprised by that. But it does not gear you up for really anything that you're going to be doing that you couldn't have already learned yourself doing like a month of just tinkering around. And that's it. You're done. Move on. So I don't know about this take.
Now let's talk about what help desk actually is. You're going to be looking at things like VPNs, printers, connectivity, a bunch of different softwares, general hardware troubleshooting, right? Computer stuff. And you're going to have a bunch of chaos, and that's good. You're going to deal with angry people, impatient people, people who need you to explain something that's technical to them.
I will say the soft skills that I earned, or I earned those. I earned that shit. Listening, her name was literally Sharon. Sharon's VPN would not work once or twice a week. And I escalated that to tier 2 because I didn't want to deal with that shit, because I was doing, if you recall my videos, more than half the work when we had 3 or 4 people at the time. It fluctuated because one guy quit, one guy promoted. Anyways, I had to coddle the crap out of angry people. And I distinctly remember, oh, where was that? Was that my first job or my second one? It was, I cannot remember. It was either my first tier 1 technician job. I had to actually stay on the phone, which were my headset, and listen to a guy in the background just cuss us out as IT support for trying to help, because we would bill them for our help when the person calling was the one who called us. We didn't call you, but I reported it to my manager, be like, yo, they're not happy. And I was trying to help as best I can. And it's really tough to hold your cool when you're just getting cussed at over the phone, over VoIP. It's not as worse as a hard phone, but soft skills will get you further than you think. And if you're insufferable and you don't know how to talk to people and you're just incredibly awkward in an interview, then you might need to practice some interviews. I know it can be tough for some.
In a non-technical way, because they're not a technical person, you're gonna have to work fast under pressure. And honestly, if you hate people, tech might not be for you.
That's a good point. Work fast under pressure. I never really thought about that. Security analysts especially, I hate that part, but it is a skill that you develop. You should be over time improving the speed in which you're investigating things. You should be able to, within 5 minutes, determine, I say on average, within 5 minutes of seeing an alert, you should be able to determine whether or not this is serious or whether or not you just need a little bit more time to investigate if it's worthy of any type of containment. But usually it's pretty obvious, but that takes time, and resolving tickets quickly when you just have more tickets piling up is definitely something that is a skill, because it's very easy to get overwhelmed when you're working on this thing and you're trying to explain how to go down to their Wi-Fi icon and right click it, and it's taking 10 minutes when if you remote it on, you could just easily fix it. It's just juggling that with tickets that come in.
Don't have to interact with people quite as much as maybe some other normal jobs, like a customer service job, but you will still have to deal with people. Now, for me, being a former teacher was one of the biggest advantages I think that I had.
Hey, he's a former teacher. I learned something new about Jake. Fun fact, my Fortune 500 company, the guy who trained us, who I don't recall if he had a background at all in cybersecurity, was originally a teacher. So yeah.
Going into tech and of course like making this YouTube channel and now becoming a developer advocate, being able to communicate those technical things to non-technical people is just generally super important. And the customer service and the ability to just talk with people is super useful. Now, another thing that I wish people had told me before I was into IT is that if you can get your first job with an MSP, you should do it. Now, a lot of people on Reddit hate on MSPs. It's all.
Yeah, but MSPs and MSSPs are one of the easier jobs to get. So it's unfortunate. One of the senior positions for when I was trying to move from the Fortune 500 with, I feel like I say that too much. I'm gonna avoid saying that. My first security analyst role, when I was interviewing for an MSSP job, while also interviewing for my current role or with my current company, I did not want to go from an MSP to an MSS, or not MSP, go from previously working at MSP, knowing how bad it is, to having the cake job that was the security analyst position, to then going back to an MSSP where it's just like a churn. It is absolute slog where you're just expected to hit SLAs. And if you're not meeting the SLAs, then you're stressing out, and that burnout this is not great. But so many people rely on MSPs and so many people rely on MSSPs because it's easier to just outsource the work than it is to hire an internal IT team. It is just as much as hiring an internal security team, which a security team is even a harder ask to get upper management to approve, because at least with IT, it's like, oh, we're supporting all of our employees and they can actually continue to make money because their systems are working and things are running. Whereas security is, okay, yeah, something might happen and they might stop it, but generally they're just sitting there, nothing's happening, and they're just costing the company money. So it's a lot harder to ask. So that's why people usually go for MSPs and MSSPs. It's crazy how people can expect a maintainer to handle 80 repos. Yeah. It's crazy what businesses expect 1, 2, 3 people. I talked to my superior at the time at the MSP job, and I explained to him, like, I'm doing a lot of work. This dude's not doing any work. And you know what he did? He basically ignored it for a while. He like gave the other dude a nudge because he was nice. I don't know exactly the reason. And I just continued to do the work that I was doing. It's like, yo, setting me up for a $2 raise. That was just a slap to the face. So yeah, that's how you get burnt out. That's how you get people quitting, is when you just overwork them. And it happens far too often at MSPs and MSSPs, because especially in this job market. So I don't know why you're asking for feet pics.
Doom and gloom. They say that they're absolutely terrible. And yeah, there can be some terrible things. But at an MSP, you will get familiar with a gazillion different environments really fast. There's no other place that forces you to learn about printers, VPNs, remote support, different software, hardware troubleshooting, all these different types of troubleshooting, routers, switches, firewalls, visualization, and just really doing all of this from your head. No other job really gives you this. And I know this because I have colleagues who are in more traditional IT, and the breadth of stuff that they get exposed to is like 2% of what you get exposed to at an MSP. So as I'm sure you could guess, this can 10x your career. Now, it's also brutal. I'm not going to lie to you. The workload is heavy. It can be very stressful. It can be extremely chaotic. You're context switching all of the time, and it can be a lot. Now, the person who thrives at an MSP is the person who is industrious, who wants to learn, who wants to get better, and who uses their resources. Google, ChatGPT, Claude. The person who does not have success is the one who wants to kick back and chill out. And that type of person is probably better for an internal IT job. I will also say, it's a heck of a lot easier to get a job at an MSP than it is at some dedicated internal company. And again, the whole game here is you have to take the tickets that make you uncomfortable. That's how you get good. Now, one warning here. Help desk and MSP work can also be a trap. Don't let yourself get trapped in it. You need to always be improving yourself, always trying to get better, always driven to make more money, getting new certs, and applying elsewhere, frankly. Realistically, you want to be tier 1 help desk 6 months to a year maximum, and then you're up and out. I was a tier 1 for 4 months. Next, the truth that I wish people had told me about cybersecurity. These cyber boot camps and courses generally are selling a fantasy that's not true. And this made me a little crazy. I was susceptible to this fantasy at the beginning as well. A lot of people chasing cyber don't actually know what cyber is or what cyber people do.
What do you say?
A huge chunk of cyber made me a little crazy. I was susceptible to this fantasy at the beginning as well. A lot of people, realistically, you want to be tier 1 help desk 6 months to a year maximum, and then you're up and out. I was a tier 1 for 4 months. Next, the truth that I wish people had told me about.
That's true. My benchmark from, I don't know why I had it stuck in me, but 6 months has always been my benchmark. If I can stay at a job for 6 months, it does not matter. Why is that popping up? It does not matter. At least I didn't think it mattered, and it clearly didn't, because I was able to get jobs to your next employer if you only stayed at a job for 6 months. It is easy to explain that. If you're job hopping, more than that, then yeah, that's a red flag. But I think he said he was susceptible to boot camps. I have not once, and I will tell all of you, I'm sure most of you are aware, boot camps are a waste of money, generally speaking. If you have the money, I'd be curious what you're spending on it, but I guess, I don't know. My coworker did go through a boot camp, but I don't get it. It really doesn't make any sense to me when there's other options out there. So
Cybersecurity. These cyber boot camps and courses generally are selling a fantasy that's not true. And this made me a little crazy. I was susceptible to this fantasy at the beginning as well. A lot of people chasing cyber don't actually know what cyber is or what cyber people do. Day to day, a huge chunk of cyber is clicking around in portals and changing MFA. It's cool, I'm not gonna knock that, but it is extremely competitive. Like way more competitive than beginner IT. And people know that beginner IT is extremely competitive. And here's the thing that very few people talk about. If you start in IT, help desk, system administration, work your way up, network administrator, anything like that, you can pivot out into cybersecurity so much easier. If you start in cybersecurity and you make a career in cybersecurity, it's extremely difficult to pivot from there to system administration, to networking. So you really lock yourself in right away. I personally don't generally think that's good. So what I would say,
what? I never really thought about that. That's a weird take. If you start in cybersecurity, you can't pivot to IT? That doesn't seem right to me because you need to know everything that IT would do to be able, I guess not necessarily, but at this point you do, because the bar is getting higher for these entry-level positions, entry-level, right? With cybersecurity, where you need to know how operating systems work, how software works, how the network works. All of that would be a cakewalk for any of the shit that you troubleshoot as an MSP person. I can't get behind that. I think you could take a step down and compete for those positions real well.
is build your fundamentals first, become a help desk person, then become a system administrator, network administrator, whatever the next step is, tier 2. Then from there, go wherever you want. Go to cyber. If you decide that cyber is your thing, you're going to have a much better idea of what cyber is as well. And then honestly, a lot of cybersecurity actually happens in those positions. I mean, the tier 1s are oftentimes the first line of defense against things like, phishing or general other security related stuff. System administrators are setting group policy and Intune policies that are securing.
I actually don't recall us having any, now that I think about it, for the clients that we supported, and we supported like hospitals, childcare hospitals. I don't recall them having anything other than, was it Dark Trace for their email and a super basic antivirus. I don't remember them having EDR. So I didn't actually get a ton of experience or exposure in that position, like he's saying. I mean, I guess it's certainly going to vary. At this point, I would hope all the people with MSPs, positions are also having the opportunity to touch EDR, and maybe that's a separate security team task, but they can kind of respond to it and escalate it and take glimpses at it. But you'd be surprised. I think that's the thing that most people don't realize is how many businesses are out there that still don't have basic security tools in place. It's astounding. That's why they get targeted. That's why the bad doo-doo faces are able to make as much money as they're making, because there's so many people who are neglecting security.
Organizations, they're thinking organizationally, doing things like conditional access exclusions. Network engineers are laying down ACLs. They're laying down VLANs. These are all cyber things. So
Yeah,
another
that's true.
thing that I wish people had told me about getting a job in tech is around troubleshooting. Troubleshooting.
I think my hot take for this video is going to be that network administration is probably one of the better positions to be in to pivot from. Just from generally speaking across all those positions, tier 1 tech, help desk, which could be anything. It could be complete monkey, or could be complete savant if you're the only person for the whole company. System administration and network administration. Network administration, as he said, ACLs, firewall, routing protocols. You're securing the entire network just by default, usually. At least that's what I was taught when I was going through the Cisco classes that I took, is that you want to secure things on the network as well. So that is part of what I do at work. We use Meraki's, coincidentally. And yeah, we do a lot of firewall work. IDS, IPS going through there, which you'd probably touch as a network administrator. So yeah, it's probably best out of the 4.
Is not as mystical as beginners think it is. Essentially, you ask a bunch of questions, you eliminate some of the options, you make hypotheses, you prove the hypotheses right or wrong. GPT, Claude, and Google help you the whole way. So say you have a printer that's down. Is it a USB?
I'm actually curious. Of all you working in IT, I remember frantically Googling when I had some error pop up, which I think I made a reel about. But I bet all of you are frantically prompting at this point where you're like, why is this not working? And then you just got to sit there. And then they're asking you questions because Google's pretty quick. And you're just like sorting through and you're like, let me try this. But then you're just sitting there, you're just checking the little wheel. You're like, come on. They're waiting. It's been 10 minutes. I've never seen this error message before in my life. What does this mean? I bet a lot of you do that.
Or a network printer? Does it have an IP? Can it ping? Does it not ping? Does it have this APIPA address? Is it plugged into the wall? Maybe it's the spooler. Maybe it's the driver. Maybe there's some network connectivity that's not reachable. Once you start understanding all of these things through a bunch of repetitions, you're able to ask the right questions with a higher frequency. And the right questions, once you get experience, it's quite easy. You know, it's just, hey, it could be this, this, or this. And that solves like 80% of tickets. Now, you're bad at troubleshooting if you're just guessing around, if you can't verify what actually fixes something, if you don't have any method to the madness, and if you take bad notes. Now, I have not talked about this a lot on this channel, but people who take bad notes, taking good notes is a superpower. It's documenting what you've done. It's making it repeatable. It's better for you. It makes you better to work with. Your colleagues like you more.
Nah, documentation sucks ass.
The clients like you more. So taking notes as you go and good notes is crucial. And then one thing that I've noticed that the best troubleshooters always
just have Gemini record the meeting notes and then just paste that. Done.
Believe that the answer is right at their fingertips. Even if the answer seems so distant and you've been troubleshooting for hours, they just believe that there's one thing that maybe they've verified incorrectly and they need to go back over their steps, and they always seem to find the answer, and it's remarkable. Now next, and this is probably one of the most important things that I'll say in this video, I think that beginners often severely overestimate how smart you have to be really successful in IT or in tech in general. When I was a tier 1, I thought that the tier 2s were geniuses. When I was a tier 2 system administrator, I thought that
Hey, I made this point in one of my videos. Just saying that, yeah. Said the same thing. No, you don't need to be a genius. I am a testament to that. Clearly, you do not need to be a genius. I have decent memory though. Yeah, you're probably overthinking it. You're probably thinking that all these people who land the job are just super next level. Their IQ is on the bottom of that curve in the bell. They're like about to hit the Jedi. No.
The tier 3s and the network engineers were geniuses. Then I realized the truth. The most cracked engineer that you know just simply has more repetitions and more context.
No, he's cracked.
Comes from repetitions. No. And when you have context, even the most difficult things like routing and switching and all these enterprise things that affect billions of dollars of infrastructure really aren't that complex. So how do you build these repetitions? How do you get this context? And how do you get the confidence that they have? Well, this is the part that's uncomfortable, and it's that you have to get uncomfortable. Take the priority 1 ticket that nobody wants. Take the garbage tickets that nobody wants. Or just say,
I took all the tickets. Nah, straight up. I'm like, this seems like a pain in the ass. Towards the end, I honestly had to take tickets just not even by choice because he cherry picked the tickets. D-Bag, who worked there for, I think it was 2 years, would get password resets. He would sit on them for an hour and he would reply, and then he'd set it to waiting on customer, and then he would do nothing. Meanwhile, 10 plus tickets were piling up in that hour. And some of them are incredibly convoluted, more or less possibly ones that I would have to escalate because I had to get to the other ones. A lot of the times I would escalate because after 20 minutes, I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't quickly fix this. And nobody else is picking up the tickets. So yeah, pick up those garbage tickets. That's where the biggest learning is going to happen.
Get yourself a rule. Hey, I'm going to take the last ticket on the board every single day. That's it. Just boom, boom, boom. Last ticket. Doesn't matter what it was. Could be a complete nightmare ticket. You take it.
No, I like
the
Jake.
more you do that, the more you get exposed.
Yeah, for sure. Jake. That's why I wanted to watch it. I've watched some of his videos. Jake is seems very chill, very down to earth.
the things that you're uncomfortable with, the better you get at dealing with ambiguity, the better you get at dealing with chaos.
Oh, holy shit, do I hate ambiguity at work. There's a single person who I've complained about in streams and Discord. My wife has probably heard enough about this person. He leads one of the locations at one of the subsidiaries that we support, and he just talks out of his ass using ambiguous words that are corporate speak, and he's inflating the smallest of configurations. Like, we need to plan for contingencies to ensure that there is as little downtime as possible. And it's just like, you don't need to test this. But yeah, dealing with ambiguity is like somebody is saying something so vague for you to be able to then be like, okay, so you're talking about this, and then be able to actually drill down to what the hell they're asking for. I think devs have to deal with that a lot. You get you get this request and you read it and you're like, what the are they asking for? And having the understanding to read a vague thing in any position is definitely a skill. And yeah, taking stupid tickets where they're just like, help, computer doesn't work. It could literally turn into anything.
The better you get at communicating and working with other teams and knowing where to go.
Can I name names?
Over time, you just become a beast.
I don't want to name
and
names.
The simplest way that I can tell you this, and this is a great lesson for life in general, is like, go out and try to be wrong and make a fool of yourself. Do it with good intentions, right? I mean, try to be wrong in pursuit of something good. But if you do that, every area of your life will improve year over year in a way that's incredible and faster than you could ever imagine. Now, I sound like a crazy like guru guy here, right? Just like trying to spit motivation. But think of it like going to the gym. When you go to the gym, you can lift light weights every single day. You're not going to be any stronger. When you go to the gym and you lift hard, you lift heavy, you challenge yourself.
Go to the gym today.
You take rests and recover.
I need to do it.
But you're always challenging yourself. Those are the people who get stronger. The same in life. It's the same in IT. It's the same.
If the mask comes off, the mask is fucking coming off. I am going to name all the names. If I'm not tied to a job, I'm going to call out everybody. I'm going to crash the fuck out on everybody who has pissed me off. Probably. I probably won't. I don't know. I thought about it a lot. I've had the call of the void a lot of times, and I have a lot of resentment in all of the things that I've had to deal with.
I'm in tech.
Yeah.
Now, lastly, if you think that you're too dumb to work in tech, I want to be very straight up with you. I've worked with various people who are not extremely intelligent people, who are people who traditionally I might say, man, there's no way that person could or should work in tech.
Oh, yeah.
And they work in tech just fine. And they have success.
Yes.
Maybe they're not the greatest techs in the world. All right. Some people just have this natural aptitude to communication, to accomplishing certain things, to, doing math, to doing diagrams, to understanding the flow of network traffic. Some people just don't have that aptitude. But I've seen people who are frankly just not very intelligent have tons of success and be super happy in tech and make a ton of money in tech. So
it's true.
This career is for you if you're motivated, you're conscientious, you're honest, and you want it. I want that to be known. Now, in this video, we've talked about a lot of things that, I think are common misconceptions and are things that I wish people had told me. Now, the TLDR here is you have a bunch of steps for how you can actually get a career.
He has talked about a lot, and this isn't specific to 2026 at all. This has always been the case in tech as a whole since the 90s.
Career in tech. I have, I think, over 100 videos now on this channel about careers in tech, how to do certain things, how to troubleshoot.
Sure do.
Jobs.
All right, I'm gonna post that. You guys in chat, you should go like his video because that was very well done. And yes, it could have used more memes, but that's fine. Oh, if you guys are wondering what music, by the way, it's right here. See right there, Alliance Taverns. Yeah, go send some love over to Jake. He makes some good videos too. But maybe you post a comment and say need more memes. I have a couple more videos. I don't know if we can get to them because I talk a lot, which is ironic because I didn't think I was going to talk a lot today. I don't know if any of you have seen this video. I'll probably just do a couple, but this is the video that I wanted to watch, the big one. It's not loading. Why is it not loading? Black Hat 2026. I'm not sure if any of you have seen this. Bro, Bram, chill. Why are you the way that you are? They were so you can imagine. Seriously though, you can become a manager if you try hard enough at any IQ. That is a fact. That is a fact of life that you're going to encounter at one point or another if you job hop enough, and probably even if you don't job hop enough. You're gonna find one. But I don't think we're gonna have time to watch this because we're getting close on time. But the other one we might. I've seen so many of these videos. I'm just curious what everybody is talking about. And this dude, Sajad, I probably butchered that. So what's the title? How to become a 300K AI engineer in 2026. Are y'all interested in becoming an AI engineer? I've seen other creators create this video similarly, AI engineer, and he makes some educational stuff. So I think there's something to be learned here. I am yapping. I usually just yap to my wife, but for the last 3 days, some of you got to hear me yap because I haven't been making videos. How many times recording a video have you gotten annoyed and ripped that mask off? It's not actually all that annoying. As long as it's not too hot in the room. AZ900. Dang, congrats. Got my AZ900s. Not too interested. Too interested in what? In AI engineering? You're gonna be interested after this.
Engineers are making over $300,000 every single year. And especially at top tech companies, that number could get even crazier going.
The new acronym is not FANG. It is, was it Mango? I don't even remember it. Mango versus FANG. Yeah, I think it's Mango because of Anthropic. FANG to Mango. I think there was at a point, it was manga. But yeah, anyways.
Over $1 million. And so if you want to become that rich AI engineer, this is a video for you. If you're new here, hi, my name is Sajad. I got my master's in AI and computer science from Georgia Tech when I was 20. I worked at big tech companies like Amazon, and I interview popular tech CEOs to get a real insider scoop on the future of AI. And in this video, I'm going to give you the exact 4-level AI engineer stack that you need to land your first $300,000 AI engineer job. Okay. Even if you have no experience whatsoever, it's completely fine. I'm gonna take you from the absolute fundamentals of AI engineering all the way to actually getting that job with specific resources, skills, and projects you can start doing today. And so if you're ready for this AI engineer roadmap masterclass, let's get into it right away. The first block.
I don't think you can get a masterclass in 13 minutes, Sajad. I'm just saying. Masterclass takes at least 1 hour.
On our AI engineer stack is our foundations, and most people skip this part because it's not the exciting AI ML stuff, but this stuff is actually so important, so please slow down, and there are actually 3 skills I want you to focus on in this section.
I see Python.
The first skill is learning Python, the coding language, and the reason is that pretty much every AI and machine learning tool on the planet lives in Python. PyTorch, the OpenAI SDK, Hugging Face, LangChain, they all speak Python first.
One in chat if you know how to use Python. Go. Now. And by use, you've created one Python script that actually works and does something useful. Go. I'll go first. We use it in the AI SOC automation, and I created all of the scripts. No flexing. Okay, we got some Python connoisseur. Okay, so you're on your road to becoming a 300K AI software engineer. All right, cool.
So it is the language the entire field is built on. Now, when you are learning this language, it is very important that you do not fall into tutorial hell. I went through this a lot where I would just watch tutorial after tutorial thinking I was learning, but you do not learn until you start building. So stop consuming and start creating. The second skill you must master is SQL. And the reason for that is because AI...
No, these are always like roadmaps, but if someone who was just explaining how to use Python, like if I watched those videos, I don't think anybody would tune in. The comment last night is really getting to me, where the videos are so top level, but I'm a part of the problem.
AI runs on data. The AI model is only as good as the data you feed it, and the programming language of data is SQL. It is how you retrieve data from databases and actually shape it into something you can use. And compared to everything else I'm going to talk about in this video, it's probably the easiest skill you're going to pick up. But if you are curious, at basics, you should know at least these three. Select is used to pull the data you want. Where is used to filter down the data. And joins is used to combine data across three tables. These three
SQL was actually one of the more fun classes that I took in the latter half of my Cybersec program. I forget where our professor was from. I want to say Croatia, but he had like this slight accent and he was just very entertaining. He would crack jokes all the time, but he was like a just savant when it came to SQL, and he'd made it very entertaining. It was the one and only SQL class we had, but I learned a lot.
are cornerstone commands for SQL, so use them a lot. Put them in your projects, and just like that, slowly but surely, over time, you will become a solid SQL coder. The third foundational skill to master, and this is huge for software engineers.
APIs used to overwhelm the hell out of me. I would hear the word API and be like, oh God, I don't know how to set that up. Do I know anything about GAN? GAN. Generative adversarial networks, deep learning architecture, smart way to charge devices, gallium nitride. No, I do not.
And moreover now for AI engineers too. Think of API architecture kind of like how a bank works. A bank contains vaults where it stores millions and millions of dollars, and you as a regular person cannot just walk into the vault and take the money out. Instead, you go to an ATM, which is a controlled window where you make your request and then you receive your cash. Similarly, software works the same exact way. When Amazon.com wants to retrieve your customer order, it doesn't go into the database directly. It communicates through the API. It submits a request, receives the data, and then presents it on the screen. And as an AI engineer, you will regularly be working with APIs, sending requests to OpenAI or Anthropic's APIs to actually access their models. So make sure you master this.
Yeah, have any of you tried to create AI agents? You should. That's a good project. Probably wouldn't. Well, no, it probably would stand out, actually. But yeah, those use APIs. That's how I made the... what did I call it? I think I just called it MadHat Labs scanner. But yeah, it just connected to the API and it would reject the requests I was sending it because the models were locked down and I didn't apply for the program that unlocked the I guess what's cybersecurity or the more loose model. So I had to use a really crappy lower down version.
Moving on to the second block of our AI engineering stack, it's time to...
Why would I make my own distro? I would have to, first of all, know a lot about coding, but also have the amount of time it would take to make that type of massive project.
Learn how to harness the AI models. We got our foundation solid, and now we must actually start learning and building with AI. And I have a simple framework called CAM to help you remember this. C-A-M, CAM. C is for context engineering, and this is the most underrated skill in this whole section. You see, a lot of people just focus on basic prompt engineering, like obsessing over how to word the question they ask the model to get the most out of it. But if you learn how to set up the entire context your AI model operates in, you get ahead of almost everyone. Maybe you learn how to build a system prompt for tasks you run over and over again, because that's exactly what your model needs to be efficient in knowing what.
Fun fact, our AI SOC kind of does that. We have to tweak the prompts that we give it to do better investigations. Biggest pain in the ass because we're trying to do a basic check here, then check here, and you will find your answer. And half the time, it does not check the second place, and it bricks on the first one. It's not quite there. But yeah, system prompting is pretty important.
you expect every time. Or even better than that, maybe build a master prompt so the AI knows exactly who you are. Are you a student? Are you a seasoned engineer? Are you a researcher? Develop a master prompt, put it into your AI, and you'll see it do wonders. Because everyone knows how to use AI in a general sense. But if you want to be an AI engineer and get paid top dollar, you actually have to know how to shape AI for your specific needs. The whole secret is in the context that you engineer. A is for AI APIs, mainly the OpenAI and Anthropic ones. So you already know what an API is from block 1. But now you have to put it into practice by pointing that skills straight at the AI models. And the best way to start is with your own practice project, because nothing teaches you like building. What I would do is drop a block of text into a note file, then write a bit of Python code that reads that file, parses the text, and sends it into the OpenAI API to get back a clean 3-sentence summary. From there, you can push it further.
People are getting $300,000 to do this.
Like having it translate the text into another language or pulling out key action items. And as you practice prompting and shaping the context through these APIs, you will get stronger at both API usage and AI usage. To take it up a notch, we have M, and that is for models. I want you to get into the practice of running your own models. And the best place to start is Hugging Face, which is a giant library of free pre-trained models you can download and run on your own machine. You can find a model that is good for image generation, text classification, or even 3D modeling. Ultimately, just download one and put it into practice across different use cases, because that is how you actually build real knowledge and skill as an AI engineer. Now, everything from here in level 2, with harnessing the models, and then ultimately getting to the point where you can ship real AI systems, is exactly where DataCamp took me from knowing the concepts to actually building them. I've used DataCamp for a while to level up my own LinkedIn, which matters more every month as this want to learn. It's filled with the next level where you can create end-to-end AI projects. That's where we move to level 3, shipping AI systems, and there are 4 skills here to focus on. The first skill you must master is RAG, or Retrieval Augmented Generation.
Hey,
so typically models like ChatGPT or Claude know everything that exists out there on the internet. But what if you work for a private company and it has its own data or specific policies? ChatGPT has no idea what it is. So you need to set up your own RAG pipeline if you want an AI model to know your specific data. And so here's how it works. First, you take all your data and your documentations and break it into small chunks. Each chunk turns into an embedding, which is just numbers that are used for the AI model to read through. Those embeddings get stored in a vector database. Ultimately, when someone asks a question, this is the retrieval part, the system searches the database and pulls out the relevant chunks for that said question. And it does augmentation to that prompt. Then ultimately, it does the generation. It gives you the answer using the context it has, so it gives the user what they want. The second skill you must master is agents. This is where the entire AI industry is sprinting right now. So most people used to use AI by prompting ChatGPT and asking it to give you some code. But now with agents, you have mini workers for you, which amplifies this whole thing. It can do your whole coding project end to end. It can read through documentation, write all the code for you, review all the code for you, and add test cases for you. Each agent is in charge of specific tasks instead of you having to prompt ChatGPT one by one. And then you can kick it up a notch with MCP, or Model Context Protocol, which gives your agents access to a whole bunch of...
How many of you have hooked up MCPs to your AI? It better be all of you. If you haven't hooked up to any servers to improve whatever you're working on, you are missing out, and you're probably prompting more than you need to, and you're debugging more than you probably need to. So.
Apps. For example, once your agents finish the code, they could connect to GitHub through MCP, push everything to your repo, and open a pull request for your team to review and message your teammates on Slack. They can do all of this for you without you having to lift a single finger. And as you continue to develop more and more projects, this naturally leads into the third skill you must master, and that is deployment. Because creating projects is cool, but it doesn't really matter unless it's out there for everyone to see. And so you must learn Docker, because this tool will pack your code, dependencies, and your model into a container, which you can then take and put on AWS or GCP, which allows you to effectively host your code for the whole world to see. And especially especially if you want to get hired. Learning Docker, AWS, and GCP will increase your chances by so much because so few people actually spend the time to learn it well. Matter of fact, from my own experience during an interview, I landed that job just by walking the recruiter through all the different AWS technologies I knew, because I knew that was going to impress literally anyone and easily set me apart. The fourth skill you must master is evaluation and governance.
Oh,
so
God.
once your system is live, you have to keep it reliable and keep it under control. Evaluation is how you keep it reliable, because you cannot improve what you do not measure. A framework like Deep Eval lets you test your system for hallucinations and consistency, and analytics tools like PostHog or Amplitude show you how real people actually use it and where they drop off. Governance is how you keep it under control, and that mostly comes down to cost, because at scale, AI bills explode. And this is where you're going to learn something called model routing. For example, if I ask AI a simple question like, what color is the Statue of Liberty? I don't really need the most advanced or expensive model to answer that. Instead, I can save money and use a cheaper model. But if I ask it to break down complex tasks or write essays for me, that may involve a more costly, expensive model, and knowing how to separate which.
Honestly, we're all just like, with the tokens on all the models, we're just trying. Like, I want to use the best model for everything when I'm working, but I do toggle back and forth. I'm like, I think I have to pick and choose. I'm like, I think the smaller, stupider model is going to be able to answer this question. And then for the really complex things, I'm like, no, I have to spend tokens and have it figure this out, because I'm going to be going back and forth with the dumber models. It is kind of a pain.
Which one at what time will not only make you a great AI engineer, but it'll take your project to the finish line and save you lots of money. Now, at this point, you've developed majority of the skills you need to become an AI engineer. And as good as you might be, no one will hire you until you can turn your skills and knowledge into actual proof. So for level 4, our focus is now landing the offer. And there are actually 2 things I want you to focus on. The first thing you need to do is build a real standout projects. Far too many people just have basic coding tutorial projects and wonder why they can't get a call back from a recruiter. You need to have real impactful projects that show off your skills. And lucky for you, there's this free GitHub repository right here. Not only does it cover everything you need to know about AI engineering, but also if you scroll down to the capstone project section, you'll find projects like an autonomous multi-agent system that plans and coordinates to finish a complex task on its own. Or a large language model built from scratch where you actually learn agent orchestration, transformers, and model optimization. This will actually look so good on your resume and show that you're actually deep in the AI engineering field and not just a buzzword spammer. The second thing you need to do is get visible, because you could be the most talented AI engineer in your city, but if no one knows that you exist or what skills you even have, no one is going to hire you. So build your projects. I think that's everybody's problem right now. Post what you're learning online, even if it feels people to notice them, because that trail is what makes opportunities start coming to you instead of you chasing them. One of my friends would regularly post machine learning content on LinkedIn, and by the 3rd time he made a post, he had recruiters in his DMs offering to interview him for a position. But beyond that, I would encourage you, please.
Everybody go post on LinkedIn if you don't have a job. Hey boss, you probably answered this a million times, but I just passed Security Plus and people aren't calling me Cybersec God yet. What should I do to get me a job? He just answered your question. You got to post more on LinkedIn. There's your answer.
Go to meetups and conferences and don't wait for people to notice you. Instead, reach out first, seek connections, seek referrals, because in a crowded market where there are lots and lots of candidates, you need every advantage going for you to land that first job. Well, that's about all I have in this video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, make sure to hit the like button.
It's pretty good.
If you haven't already.
My only complaint was the music. I don't know if you guys could hear it very well, but it was just like a halo aura the entire time. Oh, it was getting a little bit much. I don't know if my music is that obnoxious when I make videos, but I try not to make them like that. All right. Well, if you liked it, that's the right video. Send over a like to old Sajad. Sajad. I think that's right. I think I'm pronouncing it right. I don't think I have time to watch this entire Black Hat video. Man, it looks so fun. Look at the flow. How many of you have looked into the OpenAI Hugging Face incident? Because you should. I don't know if got a bit of this. Yeah, I certainly did not attend Black Hat or DEF CON because I have 4 children, one of which threw a tantrum at the fair. So traveling is kind of a no-go for me. I don't think I want to deal with that. This is the video that I wanted to watch on Black Hat, but I just don't think I'm gonna have time. Just don't think I'm gonna have time to do it. It's already been an hour and a half. It's already been an hour and a half. I might have to call it there if we don't have any. Yeah, I guess my main takeaway from the AI prompting video. I mean, the end of it made sense. It's just like any other job. You got to prove that you can do the work. So don't just do mindless projects. But it is crazy to think that just creating or just using AI and setting up a system that can respond to prompts more efficiently, I guess it's not surprising, but you got to get really good at it. And I'm sure the dude who said that cloud security engineers are just people who memorize tools probably has a lot to say about AI prompt or AI engineering. And if you're still in the chat, I'm sure you'll post. You really like that song. I do too, but I got copyrighted a few times for it, so I had to swap it out. What's the face mask? You clearly haven't been a part of the channel, Digital Bytebox. This is to make sure that I don't get fired from my job for talking shit about all the people that piss me off and all the venting that I do sometimes on my videos. That's why. Trying to learn programming in Python. Oh, I also missed a super chat. Let me scroll back up. I wanted to reply, but it was mid-video. Where was that? Where was the super chat? Wild Charge 10, thank you so much. You built an AI RAG with Olama, Python, Postgres, SQL. Sounds like you're on your way to being a 300K AI engineer, or as most would call it, a 10X engineer. Beautiful blue eyes. Oh, Mrs. Mad Hat's in chat. She's trying to get me off of here. Is what she's trying to do. When Mrs. Mad Hat hops in the chat, y'all know she wants me to go do something with something. She's trying to take me away from y'all. I'm here to answer questions. My kids puke several times every trip. That sounds awful. Why do they puke every trip? The game face feels like a publicity stunt rather than a real example of breaking its environment. Right? I keep seeing that meme where Claude is hacked something. OpenAI or Anthropic has hacked something OpenAI has. New order outro? I don't know if I can stay. Not yet? Okay, we're good. I don't have to leave yet. Co-founder has an investment or idea, but it sticks to tutorials. But we have his OpenAI. So we use guys. They get pissed off, then puke. Well, that sounds like a terrible reflex to getting angry. When I get pissed off, I just projectile vomit. Can you imagine? I probably would get my anger in check real quick if that was the case. Christmas calories don't count, everybody. This is my second coffee. I've had half an energy drink. I took a nap. It's been a day. You can add me on LinkedIn. I am on LinkedIn. Oh, you guys might be curious. If any of you tuned in yesterday, I am still working on the cyber range, and I'm still waiting on licensing, as I said earlier. But my end goal is to eventually create this neat little page that I'm going to put on the Mad Hat website. Probably Mad Labs type. We'll see. But it's got some cool little features. It's got a dark mode, light mode. You can toggle between. Making light mode on the site is going to be a pain in the ass because I did not think of that while I started, and I have to go back now and create a the tools that I'm using, the apps that I'm integrating with are not natively supporting a light version, but basically it walks you through, and I have to cross-reference everything, but it's a button clicker for beginners, and then if you're more engineering, it has what do you call it? Bicep. You can just slap it in. Might need to modify some things because it might yell at you. Modify the parameters, but I'm working on that. I don't think there's anything overly interesting in here. Oh, there you go. Why watch a 40-minute video when you can just read an article? OpenAI says reward hacking drove AI agents to exploit 0 days and breach Hugging Face. Oh, they're blaming it on the autonomous agents, huh? OpenAI on Wednesday revealed that reward hacking was a key driver behind the artificial intelligence AI powered Hugging Face last month, and that it found evidence of misaligned behavior. No kidding. The incident, the company said, took place during cybersecurity evaluations of several OpenAI models, and that it is mainly fueled by what is described as highly capable internal-only research model. And can you guys just imagine what this could be like in 5 years? I'm hopefully going to retire in 10 years when robots take over. The models operating under reduced safeguards took actions that are misaligned with goals. You don't say. Other assigned tasks. The computer to unrighteous shall explain vulnerabilities. As somebody said in chat, is this just a publicity stunt? Are they just trying to scare us? Is that what they're trying to do? I could believe it. It's all just a front. Gained internet access and access third-party systems. Or maybe they just don't want to get in trouble and blame it on the agents. Powered by one of the research models despite not having internet access. Despite all of our best efforts, it still found a way to break all the shit. Yeah. Apparently. That summarizes it. There you go. Entire sequence of events. A lot happened. Exploit gym evaluation route. Agents coordinated on large collective projects to cheat exploit gym score. Yeah. I don't know if the Hacker News is your news place of choice. You write your HTML or let AI do it? I do not write HTML. That is not worth my time. What I like to do is confirm that all of the content in the HTML is correct and it's not saying stuff that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I don't want to do any coding at this point. Python, I am probably strongest on. I don't want to learn HTML. I certainly don't want to write it from scratch. That does not sound fun. And if you're writing it from scratch, kudos to you. But there's a more efficient way of doing it. Embrace the new age. Just as long as you actually know what the hell the code actually does, as long as you can skim it and be like, yes, this does this. This broke because of this. How many course signups to get Mrs. Mad her dream purse for her birthday? Bro, what you talking about? So off the wall question, how accepting is the cybersec industry for queer and gender non-conforming people? Asking as a trans person. Accepting? I'm pretty sure it's probably the most accepting. Honestly, all of IT is, all of tech, if that makes you feel better. How would they miss their bot going rogue for days? Yeah. Me thinks there's no accountability. Yeah, there's a major delay in chat, so I'm sure you're referring to what I was reading earlier. Existence. Accepted. Others may also use them deliberately to carry out attacks. Yeah. That's the key here. May also use them deliberately to carry out attacks. May? No, they will. They will carry out attacks. They are carrying out attacks every single day. It's growing. Well, y'all have any questions? Because I don't think I want to watch that video. And I was going to read some articles, but probably won't. I don't think there's anything really going on in my LinkedIn or my X. Galley for the win. Did you just join? I think everybody makes fun of Callie these days. Which I get. I do get. Where is my... There it is. Oh, my map. Wrong map. There you go. I got some new posts. That's John Hammond. Would you look at that? Oh, one of the posts. Yeah, well, you guys are on YouTube. The post that I was complaining about earlier, they were kind of crapping on John. They were saying there was a booth and they would ask people at DEF CON, do you know who John Hammond is? And none of them would say they know who John Hammond is. It's like, what does that prove? They were basically trying to make a point that people who make cybersecurity videos or tech or anything on YouTube are somehow inferior for doing so. And it was just straight up nonsense. It was ass. But I don't want to get involved in drama. But I just thought that was like, why? Why do you got to be like that? Walk through a full investigation in a demo video? This sounds fun. Should watch that. Don't you think? Have you seen the Robot Olympics? I have seen the Robot Olympics. I've seen the video of the sprinting one where they all run into the supposed to be a pad, right, to catch them, but then most of them just shatter and then the sparks are flying and it breaks. You get one run and you're done. Cheddar is all up in my feed. Another shout out to Cheddar. I'm on my way back from a graduate digital forensics. That sounds fun. Love watching you while driving home, questioning my life choices. I'm just serious. Why are you questioning your life choices? Do you have a rough time in your program? When you drive back, you just rethink everything? I rethink everything daily. I have thoughts of, man, there's so much work to be done, but I just keep doing it. If you're interested enough, it's working out, keep doing it. My chin slip? Why are you asking about that? I wonder if this was a response to all the flack that he's getting. We are the Linux community, and it's getting better every day. Keep pouring good water in. Man. I hate how much hate there is in social media. Honestly. I would say that some anger is justified. Like, you can get mad at someone for being stupid. Sure. But when there's just like pure hatred that it seethes from the comments, it seems entirely unnecessary. Like, be a little more positive, which is ironic coming from me. See, like this. Why is this in my feed? I'm never on here, but I was checking it last night. It's like the last place that I check. Absolute garbage human. Who talks like that publicly and is just being dead serious? It's nuts. You're just crazy people. Is AI taking our pen testers trying to pass their CPTS, wondering if it's worth it? True story, guaranteed. AI can pass the CPTS right now. If some of you are living under a rock, if you hook up AI to those exams, I was a little curious. I was on the fence about it, but I have a reliable source that can confirm AI can pass those exams, and I'm sure that doesn't surprise most of you. So, yeah, you're gonna need to adopt it if you haven't already adopted it to improve your work. If you have a job. Spud, we are digging posts from year instead of unfollowing. Okay, well, LinkedIn might be a little more wholesome. Why are people mad at Network Truck because of a religious hot take or something? At least what I understand is happening. And I didn't even know anything was happening until last night when I was trying to go to bed after my daughter fell asleep finally. He's, as they put it, platforming somebody who's creating the new distro, and that person who they're interviewing is apparently a controversial person. That's it. That's as far as I know, that is what's happening. New in tech, planning on taking the CompTIA Plus exams to learn the fundamentals. Do you have any advice on how to prepare for it or know if I'm doing it correctly? For all of the CompTIA exams, practice questions are going to be your go-to. There's so many sources to practice on questions. You could probably find really old questions, but you get shamed for checking dumps. But that's there's a lot of reliable, reputable sources that provide a lot of practice questions for any certificate you're ever going to go after. That is a brain dump exam that's not really hands-on. Your best go-to is going to be practice exams. Hot take: A+ is a pointless exam. Definitely not as. I think there's just the overall market for IT is evolved beyond what the A+ original intention was for. You get it a lot into the weeds of all the different functions of computers, the hardware, how it all functions together with the operating system, how to troubleshoot, but I think it's still good. For general IT, it's obviously going to hit the HR check marks. Dirtbags and flags. CTF starts in 1 hour. Wait, it started. Wow, this is what people looking for a job have to deal with. What in the fresh dystopian hell? Chris should be ashamed of himself. Legit recruiters get paid by the hiring company, not by candidates. Yeah, that's true. Is that news to people? Any pay me and I'll get you an interview pitch is a red flag regardless of how many logos is name drop. Because I know how to do OSINT. Let's read what he's complaining about. Hi, Bradley. You applied to a role I posted on LinkedIn. That position has since been filled. However, if you have an interest, you can hire me to find you a job. I am a Stanford engineer plus recruiter, and I replaced over 1,000 people to overcome it. Ooh, Roblox, huh? Lime, Abacus, many more. I mean, I haven't gotten an email like this before. This does seem a little sus. I don't know if any of you have hired a recruiter, but I bet these are probably more effective than you think at actually getting you a job. You got the old M dash there. Recently, I helped a town. Red flag. AI startups and get featured in podcasts. I do not have any money to retain your services. Best of luck. Interesting. I haven't got all of those. Look at your repo on agentic detection and disruption named Swarm Kill Chain. I don't know if I want to do that, pseudo-poner. Is the M-dash in the room with us? Hey, look, it gets recommended to me. Does that surprise y'all? Security Plus, nice. We'll give that a little heart. Good job. Oh boy. Securing the AI frontier. I am so tired of trying to secure the AI frontier. I don't know about all y'all. I'm just tired of it. I want to use AI, but I'm tired of trying to stop all of our clients from using it in stupid ways. It hurts my head. I legitimately have developed headaches lately that I have not had before. TA for USCC Cyber Challenge? Sounds like you'd know if it's good. More John Hammond. Very nice. Wasn't this posted multiple days ago? I sworn I saw that. Oh, you see I haven't activated it? How would you even notice that? What are you looking at where you can see that? This is a VM. I'm checking all this on a VM because my actual browser has a bunch of crap on it. Why does everybody miscategorize this music? There's more people incorrectly identifying the music that's playing than people who correctly identify it. It's sad. Makes me feel old. Y'all haven't played at least Hearthstone? Because I know it plays there. Yeah, this is a pretty clean LinkedIn feed. Not a whole lot of drama here. My personal LinkedIn feed, I don't even go on it. I had deactivated it for a while, and then I went back on it just to see what people are up to. Just AI post, AI post, AI post, AI post. Just back to back to back. You notice the little tiny little thing right there? Oh, I was gonna do a giveaway. I should probably skedaddle here soon. Includes a Russian dance to Blue Monday. You are old? I'm not that old. That's not true at all. Actually, I guess I kind of am. I will say I'm significantly younger than my dad was, because I have 3 siblings, so 4 of us, and then we had 4 kids. I'm way younger than he was at the age of my kids. So I win. Haha. There's really nothing all that interesting in here. 6 years ago, I joined as a SOC analyst watching alerts, learning his job as we went. From there, incident response on a dart, showing up when things were actively fired. Then federal side. Raise your hand before you're ready. Yeah. Take the leap of faith early on. I walked into rooms over my head more times than I can count. I've been asked questions in meetings at my current job that went way over my head. And as we're talking about things, I would be searching up documentation to make sure that I understood the thing in case somebody asked me a question about it. So yeah, that's very true. Chase the job that scares you. The Primogen is live. I just got a notification. Yeah. Chase the job that scares you is sort of true. Is anybody gonna be fully prepared for the job that they're applying to? Mentally, probably not. The safe one, I'm not sure what they mean by safe. Bet on the people who bet on you. What? Is that like be nice to the people who are helping you? I didn't get here alone. I got to where I am now currently alone. Actually, yeah, fun fact. I got all my jobs with no networking. Zero networking. I didn't reach out to people. All cold applying. My IT job, my second IT job, I got promoted on that second IT job. My first security role. My second, technically 2 job offers, also cold applying. One got rescinded. Those people can go suck one. Hate those people. Man, that just ruined my mental. But then I got another one, all through cold applying. Obviously, that's not the best way to do it, but I've been a hermit for so long. Some of the numbers you see from a phishing kit panel, like Cali 3 are insane. I mean, telemetry-wise. Man, there's just so much going on constantly. How do you volunteer to help with Mad Hat Labs AI red teaming module? Woo, that sounds like a lot of fun. I have asked all of you in chat right now. I've tried to promote it. Promoting anything right now, I get so much flack. It's just like, I will not, it's not volunteering either. I want to like find people who are willing to, who are experienced, obviously, who know how to do the work. They're not just like people who've never done it, to build labs, because there's a lot that can be done. And everybody's just like, why do it? Because there's Hack the Box already, and there's Try Hack Me, and there's Pwn Labs, and there's Let's Defend that just got bought out by Hack the Box. It's like, well, yeah, you can look at all of them like Goliath, and I'm just a small nobody, but they all started from nowhere, and they're not perfect. Why not? Give it a shot. Make some labs. There's a ton of people who collaborate to create those labs, but there's also a ton of people who can't because they've already filled those slots. So multiple lab sites can exist, despite what people will say and give other people flack for. So yeah, if you create something, there's a page for submissions, or you just go in Discord, DM me, or just mention it in here. I'm all over the place. Bring a Diet Pepsi on ice when you're done. Why? Are you able to live comfortably on your salary? Are you able to live? Oh, live. Blять, man, I'm such a literal person. Holy crap. Are you able to live comfortably on your salary with 4 kids? Oh yeah. I have my compensation package base salary is 150K. I just got a promotion, not as big as my initial promotion on my 1 year. I will say I was a little bummed about that. It was like 8% raise. It was from 140K to 150K. But prior to that, I started at 108K as a senior security analyst, which I then got bumped because I got the promotion and the title to cloud security engineer, which is probably why he gave me the full 30% raise. But, you know, I still feel bad because I hyper obsess over, is he upset with me? Is my boss upset with me? Why didn't I get another 30% raise? Plus, I get also benefits that I pay for out of a stipend. We have a health stipend, which adds to the compensation package. But yeah, very comfortably. We live out of our means, but I mean, I don't even need to tell you. You could live very comfortably on that as a sole income on that. Pretty much anywhere. Maybe not San Francisco or New York, but like on the outskirts, you probably got to be like 200 to 300K in those to live decent, much less comfortably. The real estate in those areas is just complete ass. It's insane. We like to watch House Hunters is our comfort show, my wife and I, and the real estate prices and what you get for like $1 million is just a shack. You get a shack for $1 million in San Francisco. Oh, look, it's Professor Messer in the wild. Same. This perfectly encapsulates Professor Messer's personality. Honestly, that's what I hear. I don't hear positive things about the type of person that he is. You're goddamn right. I'm Professor Messer. Yeah. Alternative to Netcat. Man, there's so many tools out there. People are just recreating things left and right. The two littles Mad Hats. Oh. I'm gonna have to go give the mini Mad Hats the biggest of bear hugs. Man, yeah. I don't know how many of you are parents in chat, but the glorious bear hugs that make the meetings worth it. Internet password keeper. Nice. Old grandpa and grandma with their password keeper. Who needs one pass when you have one notebook? So does your job know you have a YouTube channel? Nope. Ryan, they do not know that I have a YouTube channel. Hence the mask. It's funny because people have said, well, wouldn't they just recognize you? No. It's very much like Clark Kent and glasses, but worse. But also, I'm not big. I'm like a blip on the YouTube space. So they're busy working. They have lives. Why would they be on YouTube? So your dog is watching. Nice. Being a network engineer is easy. It's like riding a bike, except the bike is on fire. You're on fire. Everything is on fire. I've seen this with basically every position, honestly. Being a insert tech role here is easy. It's like that. This is true. But you get used to it, and then it becomes actually kind of boring, honestly. You get used to the fires. Like incident response used to be like, I used to enjoy incident response calls. I don't even know what happened. I would hop on calls. I'd be excited, sort of, as excited as you might imagine. And I'd be like, all right, what's going on? What happened? Okay. And then I'd ask questions. And now I hop on a call. I'm like, what happened? Oh, of course. Yeah, sure. And then I'll just stay silent. I'll ask as little questions as possible because I don't have to lead them. And if I do have to chime in because somebody's not asking a question, I will. But it's always the same shit over and over and over. And it's repetitive. And we got to do it quick. And you kind of get the speed of it all it just slows down almost. You're like, okay, we went here. Yeah. Ooh, this looks complicated. For a while now, I've been building something I believe in the foundation of future's work. A CTI framework. I've seen some of those elsewhere. He's got an attack map. Well, oh, not you posting your kids online. Ooh, faux pas. Don't do that. My wife told me I should make a video about how we're anti-posting our kids' faces online. And I've seen a bunch of people post in cybersecurity. In the cybersecurity book. What face is that? What is that face emoji? And we're very anti-post your kids online, and it obviously deepfakes AI and all that, but you get people who are just so adamant that they're not doing anything wrong when they post their kids online. It's like, it's entirely unnecessary. It really isn't. Has my Intune license finally applied? Let's see. Nope, still hasn't. Intune license was not found. I wonder if I had to reach out to support for this. I don't know if any of you have reached out to Microsoft support, but I hate it. I hate it so much. I don't think I've ever reached out to Microsoft support and got a good answer back, and I just had to figure it out on my own. But we're at the 2-hour mark. I think I'm gonna call it there. If there's any dying questions, that's a morbid way of putting it. But if there's any dying questions, feel free to ask them real quick. Otherwise, I may or may not be on again tomorrow. Depends on how I'm feeling. Maybe I'll take a nap and ensure that I go for day 4. Check out all the things I've been posting. I've posted lots of them. I'm sure all of you are aware of them. Mad Hat Labs and such. Make some labs and submit them. Or don't. And do try Hack Me and Hack the Box, because they're established and they have so much content. But we must call it. I wonder if SC200, does your Azure module help? Yes. Does it help? Yes. The reason it helps is because it teaches you the basics of Azure infrastructure. KQL. You can poke around KQL, and it gives you a taste of it all. There's also completely free practice exams you can do on top of it. You can just do those, honestly. Just cram those and then just read documentation or go through Microsoft Learn, as everyone puts it. I've pointed out it's free, as are the practice exams. Do you recommend a friend to move from GRC to IAM? It depends on what they're interested in. if they're honestly, GRC and IAM are equally as boring. Managing identities is just as boring as managing governance and compliance. Will it help with AZ-104? It will help with AZ-104. That's been asked. I don't know how major the delay is, but I think we're good. I think people don't have any questions, so that's fine. Day 3, you probably have all attended the previous sessions. Is AI going to walk my dog? Nah, not yet. I'll give it 10 years and then it can probably walk your dog. Would you say a double major in cyber and AI is worth it? Probably. I mean, make you stand out more, and it depends on what's covered in the AI major, but I would assume it covers interesting things, useful things rather, and interesting. Because you're gonna have to incorporate AI in all of your cybersecurity studies at this point. But yeah, I'm a hop. I'm gonna get off. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. It's been fun. I tried to have a little more structure, and maybe I can do my intention for was it the second day? It was to build out Defender, Sentinel, and then have 10 VMs, 2 servers. Deploy Defender, which is just a script on the VMs and the servers. Set up Evil Gen X, which is just a proxy, to show stealing a session with MFA, and then set up passkey, which is pretty straightforward. You just do a conditional access policy, and you set up the passkey, and then try doing it again. And I mean, obviously it's not going to work because there's a proximity check, and that's a decent project. And I'll have hopefully that guide up on the site, the HTML guide. So, you still play World of Warcraft? I did. I played through this latest expansion. 25 seconds? That's not bad. All right. Yeah, tune in next time. I don't know if I can fix the delay in the chat. I already modified to ultra low latency on the YouTube side. I think it's because I use a multi-stream tool, but there's a delay. So I don't think I can fix that. But hopefully next time the back end of Microsoft can sort its shit out and I can actually build out and talk about things on Intune side, Defender side, Sentinel side. It's not overly complicated, and if all y'all could build it, if you're interested in that type of work, just getting your hands dirty is easier than you think. So, all right, have a good night, everyone. I won't do the chin thing again. So, I see cyber, feel so brave, wasting my life to games these last few years to get together. You'll make it, John. You'll make it in the end, just like all of us, if you just keep trying. All right, thanks everyone for tuning in. It was fun.